Hi everyone, my name is Steph, this is the Novelty Corner and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a books beside my bed video for you where I'm wrapping up the last 7 days worth of reading. You may notice that I'm in a different location and by the time this video comes up I will be home. So I have spent the last weekend in the city. I had a couple of hockey games to go to over 3 days, so I decided to stay in the city. And granted, it's the first week of the school holidays, so it's like a holiday to start my holiday. I do have a vlog that I'm currently filming at the same time as I'm filming this video. I will explain more in that. But just for the sake of the next couple of videos this week, which I have to film while I'm here, the lighting is not going to be great because I'm in a hotel room, so I'm limited with what I have, and I was not bringing filming lights with me to a hotel. That's just ridiculous. It's bad enough that I had to bring a tripod with me. So this week's wrap up is the final week of the Amazing Readathon. I technically haven't finished yet. I am going to be including those books in the vlog, so that will be the last official books that I read for the readathon. But these are the last books that I read in the week leading up to the last part of the readathon. So you would have seen in my last vlog that I got up to, oh gosh, where was it? Oh, I don't think I talked about A Second Chance at First Love. I've confused myself. If I by accident double up on something, please ignore this. So where that vlog left off, I had completed the country prompt. So then I did some sightseeing. So for 400 points and reading a book with an author who uses initials, I read A Second Chance at First Love by N.R. Walker, which is kind of a prequel novella to the Storm Boys series, I think. This is the story of Paul and Derek. Paul runs a outback glamping business in the Northern Territory of Australia, and he and his ex had a rather bad breakup. And he's about to start a new tour, and who else turns up on this tour but Derek, his ex. And there's a couple of other people who are also on this trip, and they go out and they spend a couple of nights out in the Australian outback. Derek is very much into astronomy, and the two of them just reconnect. This was a really short novella, and honestly, it was just really lovely. It makes me really excited to continue to read the Storm Boys series because we meet the main characters from that series at the very end of this book. So I'm kind of very excited. This one just felt very much, it reminded me very much of Red Dirt Heart in terms of that style, and I think it was just very atmospheric. Then for 300 points, I read a book set in a different country, and for that I read Magic Gifts by Ilona Andrews. This is a novella in between books 4 and 5 in the Kate Daniels series. Kate and Curran are out for a dinner date, and they happen to get caught up in some magical business that involves a child, and in order to save that child's life they have to go and try and track down basically a monster. It is fairly short. I read the graphic audio for this. The graphic audio came out just recently and I hadn't had a chance to listen to it, so that was really great, and it's just a fun addition into the world. It's like a little side quest in the Kate Daniels series, so I thoroughly enjoyed it. Then for a book that was published in my birth year, I reread Alanna, The First Adventure by Tamora. I have not read this book in about 20 years, and I had the best time reading it. If you are unfamiliar with it, it is a young adult fantasy book of this one, though this one does skew towards the lower end of the YA. So much so that I think these days you would have quite a few upper middle grade readers who would really enjoy it. So it is about Alanna and her twin brother Tom. They are about to be sent off to respective types of schooling. So Alanna is about to be sent off to like a convent place, etc., to learn about her magic skills. And Tom is going to be sent off to be a knight, but neither of them want those things. And so they decide to swap places. And Alanna pretends to be Alanna and goes off and starts his life as page in the court. And along the way he meets a group of friends who I adore them so much. One of them includes the Prince of the Realm. Alanna has quite a lot of magic and she's really afraid to use it. And so while she's training, she has to contend with not only being a female in hiding amongst boys and men, she also has to face her fear of using her magic in order to help people. And it's a great little story. And the one thing that I really appreciated about this when I first read it, but also now as an adult, is that it talks about Alanna getting her first period and how that just freaks her out because she doesn't have any women around her to talk to about it. For a young adult book, that's fantastic. In a fantasy setting, even better. I thoroughly enjoyed it and I can't wait to continue reading the series or rereading the series. When it's been this long, it's basically like reading it from the beginning. So
in typical me fashion, I cannot remember a single accurate prompt, so I've already had to edit in other prompt titles, but this one was 400 points and over 100,000 Goodreads ratings.
I read Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel, and I thoroughly loved this book. I mean, it wasn't a romance book. It has multiple timelines and it is a time travel book, and it takes a little bit to realize exactly what's going on and how all of these characters fit together and who is actually the person who is traveling forwards and backwards in time and why that's important. It's kind of hard to talk about it without spoiling it, because it is about someone who knows that they can't change the timeline, but also can't help themselves from trying to protect people in the timeline while investigating an anomaly that is happening in the time. Like, it's really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a short book. I have read Emily St. John Mandel in the past and really enjoyed her writing, and I don't know why it took me so long to pick this one up, because it was a great time. And then for a 5-star prediction, I read Honeycut by Sierra Simone. I did not give it 5 stars, but I did give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. And this is a book that, if you are very familiar with the New Camelot series by Sierra Simone, this series is hitting all of the same notes. And if you had issues with that series, then you'll probably have issues with this series. It is a messy, polyamorous Tristan and Isolde retelling. So in the first book where we'd left off, Tristan and Isolde had basically had a week-long affair on a boat, and Isolde is about to marry Mark. And so now we come back into Honeycut and the wedding takes place, but Tristan and Isolde still can't avoid each other. Tristan is Mark's bodyguard, and by extension of that is often sent places with Isolde on his own to bodyguard her, and the two of them are just deeply attracted to one another. Isolde is also an assassin for a religious order, and Mark is the owner of a exclusive sex club that deals in information. And so it's all messy. It involves religion, religious trauma to a degree, and these three, they're a mess. And it's enjoyable in Sierra Simone's way, but if you are not familiar with that, I would not start with this series. 100%, I would not start here. I'm currently unhappy with both Mark and Isolde, and Tristan I want to hug, but I also want him to wake up and realize that he is being played a little bit by both other people. It's an interesting series to read. Like, I'm still enjoying it and I will continue it, but I think you have to know and you have to understand how Sierra Simone's writing works when she's writing solo in this kind of space to enjoy it. Because you have to trust the process a little bit. I fully believe she can pull off the ending, but we'll see. Well, the final 2 books that I read, and I was listening to the audio for them, was Magic Tides and Magic Claims by Ilona Andrews. Magic Tides I read for the latest leg prompt because we needed a book that featured water on the cover. Because both the audiobooks are in the same audio, I just continued listening. So these are books 1 and 2 in the Kate Daniels The Wilmington Years spin-off series. They follow Kate and Curran and their son Conlon post the end of the Kate Daniels series. They're trying to start a new life and they're trying to set it up away from the pack, except they keep getting called back in because they're those kinds of people who can't say no to people if they need help. The first book involves some magical beings that live in water. The second one is about a town that is being attacked by a magical force. And I just thoroughly enjoy them. They're short and they're very fun, and it's so nice to keep seeing these characters even though the main original series is done. So that is it from me for this wrap up. Stay tuned for my vlog, which will come out at the end of the week. That will have the rest of the books that I read. I should have 3 left to go. So they'll be in that vlog, assuming I start reading them because I did not read anything yesterday. In the comments, feel free to let me know what you have been reading and enjoying this week. Otherwise, feel free to leave a sword emoji for Alanna, or a bow, because she also prefers to use a bow and arrow. Otherwise, I hope that wherever you're in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, everyone.